This episode of Pucks Across Borders on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. What's your favorite sport? Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, maybe even wrestling. Whatever it is, you can get a sport card related to that sport at FirstRoundCollectibles.com. Right now, with the promo code Sports Addict, you get 10% off whatever sports card your heart desires. That's right, 10% off with the promo code Sports Addict. Go to FirstRoundCollectibles.com today and find your heroes. That's the number one, STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Can't relax. Original. I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they never.
And welcome, Pucks Across Borders on a Thursday. Good to be back on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports. John, good to see you, man. You read his work about the NFL on Gridiron Heroics. Brand new uncle. Welcome back to the show, man.
It's good to be back, man. Had a day off to see my new niece, and yeah, ready to get back to hockey today.
We had this conversation without you yesterday. Are you like scared to hold a baby? Like, are you like
100%.
nervous? Yeah, eh? They're small.
Even with my nephew, I never held him like the first year.
Year.
It was a while. It was a while.
Yeah, man.
I'm the same way. I got you, bro.
I'm telling you, I was my wife was actually showing, like, we do this thing when we can't wait for a kid to finally go to bed. And then when he does go to bed, we just like watch videos of him like we miss him. It's weird. But I'm
There you
sure
go.
the parents out there can relate. We watched this video last night of me changing him into like his pajamas like a month after he was born. And I was so scared to like break his arm off. And now I'll just like throw him on the bed and it's fine. But like back then, I was like so nervous to, yeah, it's a trip, man. Newborns are a trip. And at the bottom of your screen, you read his work about the NFL on Gridiron Heroics. You read his work on Winners and Whiners. You see him on Total Apex Sports talking about the NFL, talking about the NBA. Did both today. Andre, how are you, man?
My vocal cords are tired. I might need to,
Yep.
be antisocial this weekend. But no, I'm having a good day. It's a good ride. Good ride. Good week.
It's been a great week for sports, man. You got the Super Bowl coming up. Basketball's been good this week. Hockey's been phenomenal. There's only one like really bad game, which happened to happen last night, but we'll talk about a little bit. But the sports has been great and ramping up to be a good weekend. So let's dive into it. Andre, we'll start with you, man. What was your takeaway in the NHL last night?
Yeah, Tampa, first game for the team, first game back from Mikhail Sergachev, and unfortunately probably his last game of the season. Really nasty lower body injury, had to get assisted off the ice. Long stoppage for that. And yet in last night's game, really brutal for the team. So they were playing so well before the break. They got Sergachev back, looking to make a run in February, secure the 3 spot in the division, maybe even the 2, get back to a Stanley Cup final, and just another big blow. This team hasn't been at full strength pretty much all year, and it sucks. They played tight, they played good, but it's hard to overcome something like that.
Yeah, and like you said, he just came back from missing 17 games. And we were talking before the show, like you know, I've like my team's played Tampa Bay. Feels like every year for the last like 3-4 years. It actually has been every year for the last like 3 years. But you don't want to see a guy go down like that. If you beat the team, you want to beat the best. And just as like a human being, man, you could tell he knew his season was over. And that's really hard in the way that the players took it. And even John Cooper went to the dressing room with him. Like just that whole scene was really tough to watch. My takeaway from last night, I mean, listen, there was only 3 games to choose from. The late night game, if you haven't already figured this out, was an absolute dud. But my team played as well. The Leafs played Dallas. I thought the Leafs played a very, very good game. Dallas came to play for a little bit. I thought the Leafs dominated for the most part. They played very, very well. I questioned Samsonov going back in the net. I thought, hey, man, he just came back from his whole mental health leave. Like, give him a little bit to ease in. But he was back in the net last night. He played great for the most part. There were 2 things that I was really encouraged by when it came to the Leafs. Number one, they were up 3-1. Dallas ties it up 3-3 with like it was less than 10 minutes left in the third period. As soon as it's tied 3-3, you're a Leafs fan and you're like, yep, I know how this ends. They're up 3-1, tied 3-3. The Leafs are going to lose this game. They might get the loser's point, but they're going to lose this game. Within 30 seconds of Dallas tying it up, the Leafs were up 5-3. And Dallas scored a late goal to make it 5-4. But I was very impressed by that. I don't like being impressed by this team because I feel like every year something happens where it's like, this wouldn't have happened last year. This is a new year, new team. But that was really impressive how the Leafs said, okay, 3-3, no problem. Boom, boom, 5-3, literally within 30 seconds. Really, really encouraging to see. The other side, too, there's been a lot of talk in this city about how there's no depth scoring, how it's all the big 4. They're scoring every game. They're carrying the offense. And it's a problem, especially going into the playoffs. And what I don't disagree 100%, you need your big boys to score. Even in the playoffs, like I've watched playoff rounds with the Leafs over the last 7 years where their big boys didn't score and they didn't win. So, yeah, all 4 guys. And I mean, we can include Morgan Riley in that too. He's the longest standing Leaf, and he's extended for the future. We can call it a big 5. They all put up points last night. They all scored. Matthews, Marner, Nylander had 2. And I don't really care. I don't really care if the depth scoring's not coming. I do question what Tyler Bertuzzi's doing out there. He looks lost half the time. It's concerning. Max Domi, he's putting up helpers. I think he only has 4 goals on the year. Yarn Crook's hurt right now. He's your major depth scoring piece, but he's hurt right now. So, yeah, it's concerning, I suppose. But we've been over this. Tavares, $11 million. Nylander, $7 million for now, but he's going to be $11.5 million soon. You got Marner's $10.5 million. Matthews, he's $12.5 million, or 12 million. 12 million. He'll be 13.5 soon as well. That's a lot of money for 4 players. They better be the majority of your scoring. And I'm okay with it. And a lot of people too were saying Willie, since he signed the extension, he's been floating, blah, blah, blah. He had 11 points in 10 games. He puts up 4 or 5 shots every night. They just weren't going in. And he put up 2 last night. So really, really good win for the boys. I really don't like being impressed by them because inevitably they're going to break my heart, but it was a good win for the boys. John, we'll get to you talking about the Devils. I know that you had the night off last night. You're hanging out with your niece. So when we get to the Devils, we'll let you break down what you want to see from your team and what you see for your team tonight. Andre, it's bad beat time, man. What was your bad beat? If you follow the show, I think you already know. But Andre, what was your bad beat from last night?
Those damn Blackhawks.
Jeez Louise.
They keep doing it. I don't understand. It's Minnesota. 1-0 lead early. 2-1 lead in the third. I needed them to win by 2 goals. They held Chicago to 1 goal over the course of 60 minutes. Could not score on one of the worst teams in the NHL for a third time. That's all I needed, Minnesota. 3 goals. You couldn't even do it. One empty net chance went wide. Another was intercepted on the fly. I think those are only 2 shots you got on the empty net. So just be better. Just be better, Minnesota. That's all I ask.
Well, I know John's been carrying this flag for a while. They've been the bane of his existence for the last month or so. But don't worry. We don't have to talk about Chicago or bet on Chicago for another. Oh, no, wait. They play your team tomorrow. Awesome.
Yeah. Terrifying.
We'll see how that goes. My bad beat. I threw out DraftKings yesterday for Ontario had a 33% Leafs same game parlay boost. So I threw out Leafs over 2.5 goals. Pretty reasonable. They ended up hitting 5. I had Willie Nylander. Yeah. Willie Nylander power play point. And that's right. We had Willie Nylander over 4.5 shots. $10 paid out $66. Pretty nice little parlay. Well, Nylander had 4 shots. Empty netter. He had the puck halfway between the blue line and the red line. Shoots it. Misses the net. Just full on miss. Doesn't hit a post. Doesn't just full on misses the net. That's my bad beat. The rest of the parlay was beautiful. The over 2.5 hit within a period and a half. Nylander's power play point hit within the first 10 minutes. And all I needed was an empty net goal, empty net shot. And it wasn't even close. So that is my bad beat. John, I'm assuming you didn't have a bad beat last night. Nothing bad happened in your life last night, bro.
No, I just want to comment on one thing. Andre, I feel bad the Blackhawks did you dirty like that. I don't want anyone else to experience the pain I've gone through with the Blackhawks for let's just face it, the entire season at this point. Andre got a little taste of it. I hope for your sake you don't experience that again because nobody deserves that, man. Nobody.
Well, I've got some bad news coming tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know that you already have Rangers -1.5 probably already locked away.
I can't go 2.5. That's the stupid part because I know I'm smart enough to not know or to know Blackhawks -2.5 is an automatic L. But Rangers
right now, -1.5 on DraftKings is -110. But the +1.5 is also -110. So maybe you need a little hedge, a little emotional hedge there. All right, let's dive into the action on the ice tonight. Looky, John. Boston hosting Vancouver. This line makes me mad for the sheer reason that I have Vancouver at plus 108 from earlier in the day. And if I was just a little more patient, I could have got them at plus 114. But Boston at home, minus 135. Vancouver on the road, plus 114. Bruins on the puck lines, minus 1.5 at plus 180, plus 1.5 for Vancouver is minus 218. The over is 6 at minus 112. The under is minus 108. John, we'll start with you, man. You know the rule. Does it apply when they're playing Boston in Boston?
It always applies, man. I don't think there's a single time it doesn't apply for me. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I refuse to bet against Vancouver when they have plus money. They rarely, if ever, let me down pretty much the entire year. I don't know what it is with the sports books and not giving the Vancouver Canucks some love, but they certainly deserve it. What's interesting is I think these are the two teams with the most points in the NHL right now. So
Yep.
throw back to 2011 here, by the way. That Stanley Cup final. A good one at that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Could we be having a little rematch preview like 13 years later? Who knows? I'm just gonna keep this short and sweet. Both of these teams are very talented. However, I really feel like when you're getting plus money for Vancouver, that's my best logic here. You have to take it. It doesn't let you down. It hasn't let me down. And until it does, I'm riding the train. Give me the Canucks plus money.
Absolutely love it. Andre, what about you, man? Same rule applies for you as well, or are you going with the home side tonight?
Yeah, this is tricky because I hate betting against Boston after a loss. You know, they don't lose consecutive games. But in Vancouver, some might argue that Stanley Cup Finals never really ended, and they're still trying to avenge it and win the series, if you will. But in all seriousness, two phenomenal teams. I think the Canucks obviously came out better after the break. I would say the Canucks are the better team. I would say the Canucks might be a little bit more motivated to win the President's Trophy, and they do have the 2-point lead right now. So I'm going to take the Canucks plus 114. Plus money for best team in the league. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I agree with both you 100%. And it's so funny that you mentioned the 2011 Cup Finals. That was one of the best Cup Finals that I can remember, man. That was phenomenal. Every Boston game, Roberto Luongo gets pulled. Just like so much like craziness. The unfortunate riots in Vancouver that happened after the fact. Just a whole bunch of drama. I'm with you guys. I actually did have to think about this one for a little bit. But no, I'm right there with you guys. I think Vancouver can win this game. I thought they played very, very well. Probably deserved to win by more than just one against Carolina the other night. But it's funny. I was just looking at the side-by-side statistics for these teams. And you're saying how they're the top two teams in the league. Vancouver, 7th in power play with 25.8%. Boston, 6th with 26%. Penalty kill. Yes, Vancouver's 16th, but 79.6, while Boston's 9th with 82.1. Not a huge disparity there. Face-off percentage. Vancouver's 50%, Boston's 49.4. Goals for 3.78 to 3.44. Goals against 2.54 to 2.62. Like these teams are really lockstep, like side by side. Not the game we deserve, but what's the saying? Like the Batman saying? Not the hero I don't know. I forget.
The hero Gotham needs. It's the one Gotham deserves.
That's right. Or is it the other way around? I don't know. We can get lost in this for a while, but my point is
the other way around.
Vancouver plus 114. I'm all over it. At first glance, I do really like the under here. I can see this being the same as the Carolina game, 3-2, maybe even 2-1. But if Vancouver wins, which I think they will, which we all think they will, I can see this going over. I can see the floodgates opening up a little bit. So I am staying away from the total. Moving on to Florida. They are hosting the Capitals, minus 270 at home. Washington, plus 220. Now we're starting to see the Washington odds that we've been expecting for a while here. Plus 220 on the road. Minus 1.5 for the Panthers is minus 105. Plus 1.5 for the Capitals is minus 115. The over is 6 at minus 110. And the under is also minus 110. Andre, we'll start with you, man. What do you see in this game tonight?
I see the Panthers trying to get back on track after the offense pretty much no-showed against Philly on Tuesday. And, I mean, Philly's a good team, especially defensively. But scoring one goal at home, it's never going to cut it. That's never going to leave you satisfied. And now they're hosting a Capitals team that is in free fall. They've lost 5 in a row. They've given up 21 goals in their last 4 games. And they've already been worse on the road this season. So I don't see this offense doing much. Washington's offense, to be more specific, doing much against Florida at all. And I think that's a real issue. I'm going to go with the Panthers minus 1.5 at minus 105. I'm going to go with the under. And this is one of those games I would not be afraid to take a Florida Panthers shutout here. I truly would not be shocked at all if the Capitals don't score. Almost expect it.
Yeah, absolutely love it. I'm with you. Minus 1.5 at minus 105. The one thing that I'm curious to see from the Washington perspective, Ovi scored in 2 straight games. Can he score another one? He's plus 170. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just throwing it out there. But I like them to win too. I think the under, just from the sheer Washington can't really score right now. But like you said, they are giving up a lot of goals, so maybe this squeaks over by 1. But I just see the same thing. I don't have too much to add here. The one thing I will throw in there, Sam Reinhart, this guy's scoring every game, plus 115 for him to score. I believe he was held off the sheet the other night. Florida only had the 1 goal. So give me Sam Reinhart plus 115 anytime goal. But yeah, give me Florida minus 1.5. This one's a no-brainer. John, what about you, man? You see it the same way?
Yeah, you're not going to get an argument against it from me. To really emphasize this, Washington, the mismatch here, I mean, Washington is bottom 3 in the league in goals per game, and Florida's top 3 in goals allowed per game. I see this as a tremendous disadvantage. So with that in mind, I do like I'm pretty much in lockstep with you guys. Florida puck line and the under 6 here. If I had better luck on the 2.5s throughout the year, I would go with that, but I'm going to stay away from it just because, yeah, I tend to curse it every time I touch it. So let's stick with the puck line. Puck line and under 6 are going to be my plays here. There's not really much to say. I think Washington just shot, and Florida's just too talented to slip up here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. So before the Vancouver game, I was going to mention there are a few plus money plays that I really, really like tonight. One of them being Vancouver plus money. We already touched on that. The other being Colorado plus 114 in Carolina minus 135 at home. I get Carolina being favored. I think minus 135 is a little rich. I'm curious to see if John has some deep dive sports book opinions on this line. Carolina minus 1.5 is plus 170. Plus 1.5 for the Avalanche is minus 205. The over is 6.5 at plus 102, and the under is 6.5 at minus 122. Yeah, listen, I just think I know Carolina's been coming on. They lost a tough game to Vancouver the other night. I just quite simply think that Colorado's the better team, and especially lately. I know that they lost a close one the other night, but I just think Colorado is a better team right now. The only time that this team played each other was in October, where Colorado won 6-4. Colorado goals for, second in the league. Carolina's fine. They're 10th in the league. The goals against both aren't terrific. Carolina is a little bit better. Both the power plays are really good. Both the penalty kills are really good. I don't see really special teams or anything else playing a huge factor. I just think Colorado's the better team. I think they're playing better. I think Nathan MacKinnon goes off tonight. Whatever his totals, props, whatever, just hammer them. And I think Colorado wins this tonight. I will mention a little side note on FanDuel. This game's on the road, so it doesn't count. But FanDuel has a plus 1,700 bet for Nathan MacKinnon to get 1 point for every home game for the rest of the year. Plus 1,700. And I don't mind it. I kind of like it. Just to throw it out there. But I'll take Colorado money line. There's no need to get greedy with anything else. And I do like the over. I think both of these teams can score, and both of these teams at times have had trouble keeping the pucks out of the net. So give me the over and give me Colorado money line. Andre, what do you see here in this game?
I'm right there with you on the over. Each team has lapses defensively and with goaltending, and both offenses are very dynamic and dangerous. So I think this is one where very quickly we could see a lot of goals. There could be bunches, and it could become a track meet in an instant. Picking a side is tricky for me because I feel like Carolina's playing better hockey, and I like Carolina at home most of the time. But is Colorado really going to lose 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Like, can I convince myself that Colorado's going to lose 3 in a row? I don't know if I can. That's where I'm having issues. But I'm going to go with my head and say Canes minus 105 on the 60-minute line. I think they're going to come away with 2 points tonight. I don't think Colorado's going to get one.
60-minute lines minus 105? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's surprising. John, what about you, man? What do you see here?
I'm a bit torn on this one, which is ironic considering I'm pretty much the tiebreaker here. I'm in the same boat as Andre, questioning whether Colorado's really going to lose 3 in a row. Both our teams took them down recently. I'm not sure if I should be concerned about this or not for Colorado, but this is going to be their third game in 4 days. I'm not. Normally, I'd be a bit more concerned about that, but they had like 10 days off before that, so
Right.
I'm a bit mixed on that one. Still, Carolina definitely has the fresher legs. And Colorado's not playing that well right now. I feel like I can trust Carolina's goaltending a little more than Colorado at the moment. Not only do they rank higher, they've been moving up the ladder like crazy in goals allowed per game. I mean, I remember when they started this season, they were like with the Sharks pretty much. They were with the Sharks and the Jackets. I'm not kidding. Like in October or something, or early November, is one of the worst teams in the league. The progress they've made, I think being 12th in goals allowed really doesn't say what they've overcome. they've been remarkable since post November, pretty much. I think with that said, I said before the Vancouver Boston game might be a Stanley Cup final preview. This might be a conference final loser preview. I don't know. So, with that said, I think I'm leaning towards Carolina. The third game in 4 days is a little too much, I think, for Colorado. I feel like I just trust Carolina a little bit more right now, especially at home.
I'll take it. Lone Wolf on the Colorado Avalanche. I've been Lone Wolf on worse, I'm sure. I'll take it. John, we're gonna go right back to you, man. We're moving to New Jersey, Calgary in town. Calgary plus 114 underdogs on the road. Plus 120 now. My apologies. Andre, you and I, we've been high on this Flames team. They've looked really nice coming out of the break, beating Boston the other night. Minus 135, the Devils are home favorites. Minus 1.5 for the Devils is plus 170. Plus 1.5 for the Flames is minus 205. The over is 6.5 at minus 130. The under is plus 110. John, we'll start with you. Before you give us a little deep dive into the game tonight, we never did get your take on your team coming out of the break. I believe the only game they've played so far is against the Avalanche, right? Where they won, or did they play another one?
No, just the Avalanche.
So after that win, what are you looking for from your team going into the unofficial last half of the year? And lastly, what do you see in this game tonight?
It's crunch time for the Devils, in my opinion. On the All-Star break show, I mentioned I was probably more concerned about the team than I ever was at any point during the year. And even on Tuesday's show, when they played against Colorado, I said it was an important game for them. I felt like they really needed time away from the ice, to be honest, to get their heads back in it. And I think Jack Hughes, in the morning skate on Tuesday before the game, he, despite not playing, really was a good morale boost. After having some time away from this McLeod situation, because guys, I'm telling you, like when they played Carolina before the All-Star break, they looked about as flat as I've seen them all year. It seemed like they just weren't there, and understandably so. They were. I think they had a lot on their minds, and the Devils have been in full panic mode. To be honest, like there's definitely been calls for Ruff's head with all these other coaching carousel fires. I've heard Devils fans call for his head. I feel like our defense and goaltending has been an issue. Maybe we're underestimating the loss of Dougie Hamilton, though I always looked at him as more of a scoring defender, but I'm rambling a little bit. Jack Hughes, I think he's going to be a big impact player now that he's back. I really do think he changes the game completely. Definitely the one that makes things happen when he's fully healthy. And I really do believe mentally it gave them a boost on Tuesday against Colorado. Tonight, I would expect the same thing. I'm kind of going into the game preview here. Yeah, I think Jack Hughes being back is absolutely huge for this team. I think if Tuesday showed me anything, is that I think they're starting to get back on track. They're starting to look like the team I know them as. And I don't want to give up complete hope on the Devils yet. They're in a very tight race for those final playoff spots. I think overcoming Detroit and Philadelphia will be a challenge. I'm a little skeptical about the Islanders and the Penguins holding on, but yeah, the Devils still have work to do. They're still down by 5 points even with that win. So it starts with nights like tonight. I feel like February is going to be a bit friendly for the Devils schedule-wise. I could break that down on a future show. But point being, I feel like this could be the start of something if the Devils can just take advantage of it. But with Jack Hughes here tonight, I like them winning outright.
If Vancouver and Boston weren't playing each other tonight, this would be the game that I would have both my eyes on. I find this game fascinating. I'm not overly sure why. I just feel like Calgary's been playing really good hockey. They're coming in hot. No pun intended, of course. Actually just dawned on me that it's the Calgary Flames and the New Jersey Devils.
There we
So
go.
both kind of hell related. But I digress. I really, really liked Calgary before learning that Jack Hughes is back. He has been gone for a while, and it's not his first time away from the team due to injury this year. So I do wonder if there's some rust, if we see him not fully back to 100%, not health-wise, but just overall playing-wise. I am curious to see how much of a factor he is tonight. I did really, really like Calgary, but I think you're right, John. I think this team's been through a lot, even before McLeod and Foote left the team. They were having a tough year, and then that whole situation obviously has been very hard as well. But they look great against Colorado the other night. And I think they can get the win tonight. That being said, I am going to stand by my Calgary plus 120. My wallet is already invested, and I'm going to trick myself into believing that it can happen. I'm kind of tempted by this under at plus money, 6.5. I can see this game being 4-2, 3-2. You know, like I don't know if I necessarily like the puck line. If you're leaning Devils, I don't necessarily like the puck line here. But I'm kind of tempted by the under 6.5 plus 110 a little bit. Andre,
Mark,
what do you see, man?
we never take the Devils puck line at home. We've been over this.
Oh,
It's a trap.
Not even I think it.
It's a trap.
That being said, I think I agree with you that this is a very interesting game. I think this will be a very telling game for both teams, and potentially pivotal moment in each season. I do like the Devils more in this game. I think they're going to win. I'm going to take their 60-minute line as well. I don't have the odds up quite yet, but Hughes is back.
Minus 105.
I think enough said right there. Hughes is back. Insanely dynamic player and scorer. Calgary's good, or they're playing well right now, but on the road again against a very explosive offense, I don't think theirs can keep up. So I think Jersey 60-minute line is the best play here, and I'm going to roll with the over. I'm just going to trust this to be a Devils game more than a Flames game.
I will say two things real quick. Number one, we talked about this a few weeks ago, John. I actually asked you, and it kind of came to fruition the other night against Colorado. I really do think the Devils just need to focus on their strengths. And just like, obviously, I say this facetiously, but like, just forget about defense and just be high flying, score a bunch of goals, winning games 5-4, win games 6-4. You know, like forget about the close game, forget about being tight defensively. Obviously, I know that's not entirely how it works, but the Devils just need to win games 5-3, 5-3, 6-3, 6-4. So I know that I said under because I do think that Calgary can win this game, and if they do, it's going to be under. If it's over, the Devils win. I think that's pretty standard. There was a second thing that I was going to say, but I forget what it was. So moving on to Philadelphia, where the Winnipeg Jets are in Philly. Winnipeg reeling a little bit. Losers of 4 in a row, 3 heading into the All-Star break. No showing against Pittsburgh. And this kind of leads into a side conversation. Brendan Dillon suspended 3 games for his hit on Achari. Dillon's a good defenseman. I wouldn't say he's like a staple defenseman, but he's a fixture on that blue line for sure. Maybe tomorrow we have a bit more time. We can dive into what we think about that. I think 3 games is a bit rich. I didn't think it was that bad. That's just me. But Philadelphia plus 110. at home. I usually give the sports books the gears for not showing Philly respect, but I think this is just showing Winnipeg respect, even though they've been losing. They've lost 4 in a row. Philly plus 110 at home. Winnipeg minus 130 on the road. Minus 1.5 for the Jets is plus 190. Philadelphia plus 1.5 is minus 230. The over is 5.5 at minus 115, and the under is minus 105. Andre, we'll go to you, man. What do you see in this one?
Defense. There's not going to be a lot of goals in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Sticking with Winnipeg's other game in the state of Pennsylvania this week, I'm taking the under 5.5. It's minus 105 for this one. Not as good as the plus 105 the other night, but still good enough for me. Jets can't score right now, but they're still the best in the biz at keeping the puck out of the net. The Flyers may have won on Tuesday. They only scored 2 goals. Game before the break, they only scored 2 goals. The game before that one, they got shut out. So, team with the second best PK, team that's 11th in goals against average, but also can't score. Under 5.5 all the way. If I was betting this game, I wouldn't hammer myself to a side, but Jets are the better team, so I'll roll with them to get back on track. They're not going to lose forever, you would think.
John, what about you, man? What do you see here?
Another difficult game to pick. I think this is one of the tougher ones on the board for me today. Because on one hand, I do think Winnipeg's offense is much better than Philadelphia, which would be my argument for picking Winnipeg here. Because I would be concerned Philadelphia just can't keep up. I mean, we're talking about one of the best teams of the league. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, we're talking about one of the weaker teams of the league with Philadelphia when it comes to goals per game, and their power play is basically non-existent as well. Winnipeg's really pretty much in the middle of the pack for goals per game, but they're a great goaltending team. I do think Philadelphia can keep up with them. They're still in the top 10 in that department. I'm just more concerned about the offense than anything, but I do think momentum-wise, this game favors Philadelphia for 2 reasons. One, the way Winnipeg's playing, as you guys discussed already of late. And 2, Philadelphia, I think, had a huge win Tuesday night. I'm going to say the same thing for Philadelphia that I said about the Devils. I did think the momentum on Tuesday was very important for them coming out the All-Star break, because I mentioned it on Tuesday's show. Philadelphia was playing very, I'll just say poorly going into the break, especially goaltending. And they got it together Tuesday night. They only allowed 1 goal. I think Tortorella's gotten through to this team. At least that's the indication I got from Tuesday's performance. Seems like Philadelphia had a solid game. Their heads might be back in it now. I don't want Philadelphia to win this game as a fan, but I'm leaning as a bettor to pick Philadelphia here.
Yeah, I had a tough time with this one too. Both these teams 5-5 in their last 10. Both these teams heading into the All-Star break on a losing streak. One of them ended the losing streak. One of them did not, as both of you guys discussed. I think this game, I think both you guys nailed it. This game is going to be tight. I think it's going to be a really hard-fought game. I also see this game going under 100%. I know it's 5.5, but I absolutely see this game going under 2-1, 3-2. This game's going to come down to goaltending, plain and simple. I think whoever's the better goaltender is going to win the game. And no disrespect to Samuel Ersson, but we all know who the better goaltender is in this game tonight. I think Winnipeg's had a really tough stretch. I also think there's a lot of talk right now going around like Winnipeg was awesome. They were great, but maybe their legs are falling off a little bit. Maybe they're kind of showing us who they really are. It's amazing when you go on like a crazy winning streak and you own the league for 4 months and then you go on a 4-game downer and the whole league thinks that you've fallen off a cliff. I think Winnipeg's out to prove something tonight. Philadelphia is too, but Philadelphia's been like proving something all year. This isn't a like new mentality for Philly. This is how they've been the whole year. I like Winnipeg tonight too. A little reluctantly, I actually do think the under is the best play tonight. I really do. But I really like Winnipeg to win this game. Give me the plus 100 on the 60-minute line is a little bit tempting, but I'll just stick with the money line. I know it's a bit expensive, but this game could go to overtime, tied 1-1, no problem. So yeah, give me Winnipeg and give me under 5.5. All right, moving on to the aforementioned Tampa Bay Lightning. Tough spot, back-to-back, losing an important piece on their blue line, as we discussed. They are plus 120 underdogs on the island, I should say. Minus 142 are the Islanders at home. Plus 1.5 for the Lightnings, minus 205. Minus 1.5 for the Islanders is plus 170. Over 6.5 is minus 102, and the under is minus 112. I like the Lightning in this game. I know that the Islanders had a really big win against the Leafs on Monday. I know that we're waiting to see if this, what is it, the dead cat bounce, if that kind of lasts, if that kind of comes to fruition. They haven't been flawless. They haven't been on some crazy winning streak since Coach Waugh joined the team. Theoretically, I think this is a really good spot for the Islanders. They haven't played since Monday. They're at home waiting for a Lightning team that played in Manhattan last night. Really tough emotional loss last night for the Lightning. But I think that that's going to play in the Lightning's favor tonight. I think that this is a team that has a ton of experience, a very mature group. Last night, it's tough to rally and win that game for your boy when that happens in the middle of a hockey game. That's super tough. They think they've had a full night to sleep on it. They've had a full day. They know what's up. And I think they come out firing. I think they win. I would even dabble on the puck line. I really would. I know Vasilevsky played last night, so Johansson's probably in net tonight. I haven't seen one way or the other. But I think Tampa Bay comes out guns a-blazing tonight. I still don't trust this Islanders team. I get it. They're at home. I get it. They've been waiting. I get it. The Lightning played last night. But you're talking Kucherov, Stamkos, Point. I just think these guys come out pissed off from last night. I think it's a super emotional fire for them. I will, at plus money, give me the money line plus 120, but I'll throw out minus 1.5 plus 255 too. I really do think that the Lightning completely dominate this hockey game. I'm not going to mess with the total. Probably over, I think, is probably the play here. If what I say does happen, then it's probably over. But give me Lightning plus 120. And if you're feeling extra risky, give me that puck line too. Minus 1.5 for the Lightning. John, we'll go to you, man. What do you see in this one?
I agree with you. I really like the Lightning in this spot. And it's kind of rare that I pick a team that strongly on a back-to-back, but I really do feel it here. I think part of it is the Lightning injury, I think, is affecting this line for sure. Otherwise, I don't think the Islanders are minus 142. The way I look at it is offensively, I just think Tampa's the far, far superior team, even with the injury. Tampa's top 9 in goals per game versus the Islanders being bottom 9 in the league in that category. And power play, I think, is a huge advantage for Tampa Bay as well. Tampa Bay is 29 over 29% on the power play, I believe, whereas the Islanders are like a mere 72% on the PK. So I think that's a tremendous mismatch there. I expect Tampa to take advantage of it, and I do really like Tampa Bay to win this game outright.
What about you, Andre? What do you see here? You're going with the Lightning, or you're sticking with the home side?
I expected to lone wolf this one, but this is going to be a really boring segment. You guys pretty much took everything away from me. I trust the Lightning way more, even on the second half of a back-to-back, because let's be real. Stayed in the same hotel they're already in, just hopped on the LIRR, went to the stadium. Easy come, easy go. They're the better team. I think they're going to rally around last night's injury. They need the points more. I don't really know what to add that YouTube didn't really say. I like Tampa plus 120. I like the over. And that's that.
I absolutely love it. Last game. Lots of drama around this Arizona team. We've talked about it. I've said to you guys, no way, Jose, does this team leave. But it seems like in the next 48 hours or so, we're going to find out once and for all what is happening with this Coyotes team. I'm sure we're going to touch on it before the weekend. Definitely Monday. If not, maybe even tomorrow. Yeah, lots of smoke with this Arizona team right now. But as of right now, they're still in Arizona. They're still playing the University of Arizona Coyotes, my beloved. They're at home, plus 114 dogs to Vegas. Vegas minus 135. Puck line, minus 1.5 for Vegas is plus 180. Plus 1.5 for the Coyotes is minus 218. The over is only 5.5 at minus 118. The under is minus 102. Andre, we'll start with you, man. I got some thoughts, but I gotta collect myself here. What do you see in this game tonight?
I feel like with all the news going on around Arizona, the players, I feel like this team's about to go on a run. It feels like the most Coyotes thing possible. Just feel like, yeah, we're about to move, or nobody wants to, or whatever. We don't have the land plot that we purchased. We actually bought half of it because our ownership is cheap. Call it what you want. I think the Yotes have a run about to come in them. As soon as they get announced to move or whatever happens, I think there's going to be a strong surge, and the thing's going to start tonight. So I know Vegas just beat the Oilers. I know they look good. I know Aiden Hill is back. But I picture a low-scoring game. And if Arizona's in it down to the end, I see them doing what they did in Vegas in late November, and that's coming away with a win. So I'm taking the Coyotes plus 114 here.
I needed that. That's the pep talk I needed. I really, it's difficult for me because you guys know I love this Coyotes team, man. I've been high on them all year. Not a cup contender or anything crazy like that, but I really like watching this team play hockey. I think they're a really fun team. I think they work hard, and they always forever are going to have this like underdog vibe to them that we all like. 3-game losing streak heading into the break, 4-5-1 in their last 10. Not playing the best hockey right now. And I had a really hard time getting behind them. I think Vegas is really starting to pick up. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. Big win against the Oilers the other night, like you mentioned, Andre. I'm staying away. I do like the Coyotes. I do. No, you know what? No, screw it. I'm not staying away. Coyotes minus 3.5. No, Coyotes money line plus 114. I just think maybe for different reasons than you laid out. I just think that this team is for real. I think they are a good hockey team. They haven't been playing like it lately, and I expect them to turn around. And I know Vegas, they're 7-2-1, like I said, but they're still banged up, right? No Jack Eichel. They're still not their full team on the ice. I know Vegas was kind of scuffling then, but back in November, the Coyotes did win the last matchup against this team. They actually shut them out. So give me Coyotes plus 114. What the heck? Let's go. My favorite university in America. Let's fire it up. John, what do you see in this one, man? Finish this off.
I like Arizona more for the opposite reasons as Andre. Andre's talking about Arizona momentum. I mainly like it because of what Vegas is facing going into this. Because Vegas just beat Edmonton on Tuesday night, and that was the hottest team in the NHL, historical winning streak. And I even said on that show, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. I feel like Vegas was feeling themselves a little bit on that one, showed up for that game, gave it their all, and we're totally all in on that game. And they look good. They won fair and square. However, I think they're gonna have a bit of a hangover tonight. That's my opinion, at least. I think that's arguably Vegas's biggest win of the year, so I don't like that they have to go on the road to a 5,000 seat arena right after that. Especially against a team that I think is very easy to overlook. No offense to Arizona. But,
very much so.
But as they've proven, they can be scrappy when they want to. Which is why I think it's a perfect trap spot for Arizona to win this game outright. I just don't think Vegas is going to I get the feeling Vegas is not going to be 100% invested in this game, considering who they're playing, considering what they just came from. I see this as a game Arizona can steal, so give me the Coyotes here.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. All right, let's move on. Puck drop is in half an hour, so let's move on to our best bets, brought to you by First Round Collectibles. With promo code Sports Addict, you get 10% off whatever sports card your heart desires. That's the number one, STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. John, we'll start with you. Missed you yesterday. Your best bet hit. Thank you for that. What is your best bet for tonight in the NHL?
Gonna hope I can keep the streak up.
I don't like your negativity. Of course it will keep up.
All right. I think I'm going to stick with my team here. I'm really feeling them tonight. With Jack Hughes back in the lineup, I think this is a bit of a ballsy play because I'll tip my hat to Calgary. They have good momentum coming into this game as well. I just feel like this Jack Hughes return is a big deal for New Jersey. I think from what I saw on Tuesday night, this team is back. I hope so, at least, and they seem ready to go. And with Hughes back in the lineup, I agree with you. By the way, he probably won't be 100% doing his old self stuff, but I think just him being on the ice will make a difference, and I think he'll be able to do enough to put them over the edge here. I'm going to go with the Devils money line because we don't do puck lines on this show with the Devils involved. So, yeah, Devils money line. I think they'll squeak out a tight win there. That's my best bet.
You're killing me, man. I shouldn't have made that Calgary pick earlier in the day. But it's a nice little hedge. That's okay. Andre, what about you, man? What do you see here tonight?
Well, I'm just going to double down from what I did on Tuesday, and that was the under in the Winnipeg Jets game while they were in the state of Pennsylvania. Rolling with it again. Under 5.5 for the Jets in Philly. Not trusting either offense. I'm really trusting both defenses in goaltending situations. Keep those pucks at the net, people. Let's do it.
Well, if memory serves correct, another one of our best bets was also Philadelphia minus 5.5. No, or sorry, under 5.5.
They played the Panthers today, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was under 6, but yeah.
Under 6. So we picked the under for both teams the other night, and I like it again, man. That's awesome. I agree. All right. So my knee-jerk reaction to a best bet tonight is Vancouver plus 114. That's my knee-jerk reaction. I do think you got Vancouver plus money on the road. However, now I already bet this, so believe me when I say I do like that as a best bet. But for the sake of this show, it is Boston. They're the second best team in the league. They're no joke. They're at home off a tough game against Calgary the other night. So I'm going to go back to the island, man. I really do think that Tampa Bay can win this game and win this game handedly. I won't get crazy with the minus 1.5. However, give me that money line for the Lightning plus 120. I really, there's something about this team tonight that I really like. And I really do think what happened last night, the game's over. It's done. We're moving on. Let's crush these guys for our boy. Lightning money line plus 120. Book it.
Cool. So, John, we got a little Devils puck line at plus 170. Right. Oh, I just got stuck a little bit.
Money line.
I was about to say, Andre, John's not listening, clearly.
Thought I could really slip that one by him.
No, I thought so.
We got Jets at Flyers under 5.5 at minus 105. Got the Tampa Bay money line at plus 120. Altogether, it's a plus 647 parlay. Good job, gentlemen.
Plus what, sorry?
647.
No, I'm not listening. All right. Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, guys, great show today. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Maybe you're just listening, washing the dishes or something crazy after dinner before the big games. Thank you guys so much. Good luck on all your bets tonight. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com. 10% off, promo code SportsAddict. Big shout out to Total Apex Sports for having us on board. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you tomorrow, 5 a.m., boys, 5 p.m. We will see you then.